So like a quick overview, I think many of you that have kind of followed what happened in crypto in the last like 4 to 6 months or this year have been seeing that the prices have been going pretty ballistic, which I would say, or I would argue, and also because we have this discussion a lot between us investors, is probably coming from the flood of printed money due to COVID. But also the eventual increase of speed of digitalization that has drawn a lot of attention to potentially investing into new asset classes, not only from the retail side, but actually this time compared to the 2017 bubble burst and craziness, this time it is backed by a lot more in-depth fundamentals, which are potentially proven through actual corporates, larger corporates, professional money buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, even pension funds, small pension funds like Israel or New Zealand, dipping their toes into buying small portions, leveraging their portfolio with cryptocurrencies, legitimizing cryptocurrencies ultimately. And then there's another factor with companies like Coinbase, Coinbase IPO, so the first largest cryptocurrency exchange actually going into public markets, further legitimizing cryptocurrencies from an SEC point of view. But it also shows that, which is interesting again now with NFTs, but it also shows that regulators have come a long way in the last 3, 4, 5 years to actually lay some groundwork for, yeah, I guess more global joint efforts to kind of regulate these technologies. Now with DeFi and NFTs, we are facing new challenges. I agree there. It's really interesting topics that you raised, Sebastian, Fanti. But I think it's like, it's solvable. And I think there's lots of, like in the EU, there's the MiCA coming, like the markets for crypto asset regulation in 1 or 2 years, which will lay new groundworks. There's the FATF with regards to money laundering. So there's lots of these kind of topics, yeah, supporting the actual, like, I guess, innovation behind this by not slowing it down. This is always a difficult piece. So back in uni, I wrote my thesis on GDPR and blockchain regulation. So how does a regulation like GDPR influence a technology like blockchain, where everything is kind of transparent, it's hard to remove, right? Because it's immutable, but it still needs to be privacy compliant. And this is the same challenge that the battle that we always have, right? By providing regulation after the innovation came. And I think this will be the same with NFTs. And from my personal experience, I learned that most of these things are just kind of normal human, yeah, I guess, processes that have helped us form laws overall in the last 2000 years. And I think this will happen, the same thing will happen to all these new technologies that are more globally, I guess, interacting with each other. With regards to the trustee coin, I think, yeah, and the topics that you mentioned, so the way we're currently envisioning it, it's not finalized 100%, but the way we're currently envisioning it is that basically the WiseKey NFT marketplace will be kind of like a gatekeeper to compliance, right? This means that on the one hand, buyers as well as sellers will be fully identified under European regulation and KYC AML laws. Also, the reselling of NFTs will always have to be facilitated via the platform, right? So you can kind of perceive it, I guess, as an analogy if you're reselling an art piece and the gallerist who originally sold it has his black book to kind of verify the art piece together with his experts. That's the role that this marketplace is essentially trying to take as well, right? Because that's the only way we are for now seeing to make sure that all of these trades are regulated. We already have a lot of very open NFT marketplaces like OpenSea, Wearable, where it's a lot harder to kind of enforce these kind of practices, and where it's also a lot easier to then misuse it for money laundering or these kind of topics. So I think this is what we are currently introducing. With regards to the trustee coin, we are envisioning that also the NFTs will be bought within these with only trustee coins. So you potentially sign up to the platform, create your profile, verify as a potentially an investor with a specific amount of funds, because we are going to start with luxury goods with this NFT marketplace. And then you can buy packages for potentially some kind of market discounts of these trustee coins, which you can then use to buy NFTs. And during the auction, you will of course see a live US dollar or euro denominated price, so you know what you're getting into. But this, of course, again, holds a few challenges with regards to how the trustee coin will be traded on open markets compared to the price differences that are going to be created through actually selling NFTs, right? So this is some interesting dynamics that we are still like modeling out and thinking about. Another interesting aspect with regards to NFTs is that they can actually potentially be fractionalized. So we're also thinking this would probably be like a further step down the road, not for the first MVP, but what about allowing larger retail investor groups, retail pools to actually participate in ownership of NFTs? So imagine you have an art piece from a gallery, like maybe a very unique piece that is only in a gallery, and you can get your digital picture frame, you can put it into your living room, and you can be a proud owner of maybe 3 pieces of this in the world. Or you can say one of these pieces we fractionalize to 1,000 and essentially sell 1,000 of those to 1,000 individuals for, let's say, $100 each instead of 100,000 to one individual. And then many people can actually own part of this and can be a proud owner of 1,000 people in the whole world owning part of this NFT. While also giving museums, specifically in the times of crisis like now, a new business model to monetize, but also promote historical art or modern art or whatever it is, right? The same goes, of course, for watches or any kind of other goods that could be potentially represented by a digital NFT. So that's currently what we are seeing. We are also thinking about different aspects of what to further do, like with regards to transaction fees, or maybe even one idea that we had currently is saying, what if in an NFT auction, every participant will actually benefit from it so that we can increase participation. So imagine if an NFT piece is sold, then most of the revenue will go, of course, to the artist or to the seller, but some of it will go to the marketplace. But what if some of it would go back to everyone who actually participated, right? So if 10 or 20% of the revenue of a sale will actually go back to everyone who participated in the bidding process. That could also be interesting. And that's something which is much easier to do if you do digital kind of auctions, which can be fully traced through to blockchain technology behind it, right? That Ocean and Casper are providing. And then there's other aspects, I think, in the future that we're currently looking at. But this gives you a very brief overview of our current thinking. We're still finalizing it. And of course, for the first version, we want to try to keep it as simple as possible to reduce friction for understanding and also user experience, the trend described, which I think is really, really crucial here, to make this as simple as possible. Yeah, but I think I'm happy to answer any further questions later on, but that's what we're currently thinking. But you will get more extensive information once we have made final decisions together with the team. But I hope this gave you a good overview for now.